Okay, hello guys, and welcome to my first episode of 6 over 3. Alright, and this is going to be my new segments, and they are called Quick Acting, Quick References, and other words like quick date, I don't know, quick definitions, quick anything. What I do is write down random things for myself to talk about during each show. And then I just describe each one briefly and make it funny along the way. Alright, and these things are called subjects of the day. Alright, so the first one is Batman. Okay, and I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, so please stay with me. Alright? 1, 2, 3. Batman, he's got a bunch of wings, and he's like wear a black suit. He looks kind of scary. Old ladies are scared of him, and he's got bat grenades in his pocket, bat boomerang, and got Robin as a sidekick. Robin is the best. Alright, fruit. Fruit, it ranges from bananas to raspberries, and raspberries are very good. There are red, yellow, blue, green, yellow, blue, sometimes aqua fruits. Now, cheese puffs. Who wrote? Okay, cheese puffs. Okay, they're round and they're messy. Don't eat them in bed. They're cheesy, really good. They usually come in a huge container for only like $1, and it's like that new McDonald's meal. Sorry, getting off subject. Alright, race cars. Race car spelled backwards is still race car. Alright, I think that's called a synonym. I have no idea. Look that up. Okay, race cars go fast, vroom vroom, usually in NASCAR. They go around in circles a bunch of times. Woohoo! Fun. Powerpuff Girls. Okay, I know there's Bubbles. That's like the only one I know. And they have huge eyes. Save the day from Mojo Jojo. He's so freaking cool. Okay, so next one is attics. Attics are upstairs in your house. They're really scary, really cold, sometimes freaky. They have aliens in the attic, like the new movie. Not really new, but it was kind of old. It was like two or 3 years ago. Alright, next one. 2012. That was a new movie this year, and it was really, really good. Alright, it was really, really good because it was like the apocalypse, and the apocalypse is in 2012. I can't believe that that's going to happen. I doubt it's going to happen because it was proven by the Egyptians or something. I have no idea. Next one. This is the last one. It's got to be the best. Best one today is man-eating TVs. Okay. Who the hell wrote that? Okay, why would I? Okay. Man-eating TVs. That would be kind of scary. You're just watching TV and then suddenly it grows a mouth and legs. It grabs out and reaches into you, pulls you into the TV, and then you're part of the TV show. I wouldn't really be mad at it if it was like, if I was like watching SpongeBob, but I'd be really mad if I was like watching a Michael Jackson broadcast or something. That would be really scary, like Dancing with Michael Jackson. And then all my friends are looking at it and stuff, and then my TV starts walking around, swallowing up all my friends. Well, anyway, that's the end of my show today with a record of about 3.5 minutes. So I'm going to see you guys later. Second video is going to be coming up soon. Bye-bye.